Hey classmates, my name is David McGraw and I'm going to be talking with you guys today about communication. So this kind of feels like it's been the theme for the whole semester, right? So we started with our textbook on crucial conversations, learned how to navigate communicating with people when there's high stress or there's a lot on the line. We've already had one presentation where for some of us, maybe it was our first time kind of working on those communication skills, but for a lot of us, probably sharpening the strengths we already had. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about it again today, kind of wrap up everything we've talked about this semester, talk about what it means to me personally, and drive it home one last time. So I want to share one of the quotes early on in our textbook about communication. This is from John C. Maxwell, and he stated, "Educators take something simple and make it complicated. Communicators take something complicated and make it simple." So think about how many times you've heard a presentation and left that presentation feeling even more confused about the topic than before it started. Or on a more personal level, how many times have you had a conversation with a friend or family member and left that conversation feeling even more confused or frustrated or upset than before it started? Classmates, we know the importance of communication. It's been drilled into us from the second we started our undergraduate degree, right? We all took the Public Speaking 101 class. We were told to slap communication down on our resume as a skill. It's kind of been a little bit of overkill in college, right? And I think because we've heard that word tossed around so much, a lot of us have kind of lost sight of its value and of its importance. But I'm here to tell you that over these last 2 years, my first years in corporate America, I've been brutally reminded of the importance of communication. And truly, everything our professors have been telling us over the last several years is true. Our textbook even states that the success of our marriage, our job, and our personal relationships is dependent upon communication. So, next, I'm going to share a little bit of my personal experience with communication and how I've been able to learn and grow in this characteristic in my professional life. Alrighty, so my official job title is financial analyst, but I would completely scratch that to say I'm a communicator. So, a huge part of what my job is taking the financial analysis that I do of the health of the company and communicating that to our different internal business units, such as human resources, community and economic development, government and legislative affairs. There are tons of people out there, and they need to know how we're doing as a company financially. So the textbook actually does a really good job of kind of listing out some points of how to prepare for a presentation, and it's almost exactly what I do as I'm getting ready to go talk to these different groups of people. So number one, simplicity is key, right? We talked about that earlier. So what we want to do is take something complicated and make it simple. So I can't just take, a pivot table full of numbers and financial information, slap that on a PowerPoint and say, okay, human resources, here's how we're doing, here's where we're at. It's going to look like German to them, right? They're not going to understand. They're not skilled in reading financial data. So, what I've got to do as a good communicator is take that complicated data and make it simple. A lot of the ways I do this is through providing a visual for people. So, for example, taking the pivot tables that I work on and turning them into like a pie chart. So, saying, hey, here's the whole pizza, here's your entire budget, this slice is what you've spent already, and everything else is what you've got left. So, giving people something that's easy to look at and easy to understand, keeping it simple. Next, the textbook reminds us that we need to know our audience. So, for me, every audience I speak through throughout the week is entirely different. They've got different interests, different priorities, different things that they're always going to ask questions about. So, there isn't one, kind of standard presentation that I could give that everyone could understand, right? It's always got to be tailored to incorporate what's important to them, how they contribute to the health of the company financially, how the financials affect that group, and things like that. So it's super important to know who you're talking to, and how to tie in your message to tailor to their needs, their priorities, things that are important to them. Lastly, the textbook reminds us to seek a response, right? So presentations should never really be one-sided. It shouldn't be me dumping all this data onto them and saying, okay, see you later, ask me questions and I've got to go. It's a conversation, right? So maybe it's me having a call to action for them saying, here's where we are financially, this is what I need from you, this is the goal I need you to meet, things like that, and having a conversation. So again, I think our textbook does a great job of kind of outlining the importance of communication, how to have good communication. So, step one, simplicity. Step two, knowing your audience. And then three, seeking a response. All right, classmates, I know it's not just me. By now, we should all be experts at communicating. We've been reading about crucial conversations and how to communicate with someone when the stakes are high, and we've now had 2 chances to practice our formal communication skills through these presentations. So, my call to action for you is this: don't let all the information that you've read and the practice that you've had go to waste. Take all these skills that you've learned and topics that you've read about and apply them in your personal and professional lives. I know you can do it, classmates, and I'm excited to see you out there in the corporate world. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I hope you all have a great rest of your summer.